Good morning, Warriors. Fernando here. Happy Monday morning. I hope all of you had a great weekend, and I hope that you are ready for this week. Hopefully, it's going to be a good week for all of you. Thank you for stopping by the channel to watch this video today. I'm excited not only because today is Monday, but because tonight is our roundtable live, and that is at 9 p.m. tonight. Central Standard Time, and hopefully you guys can be with us tonight as we get together. So hopefully you guys are able to come. Today I want to talk about strengthening your hands. What am I talking about? Here's something that probably most preppers never think about, and that is hand strength, right? In an emergency or any survival situation, your hands are one of the most vital tools that you have. Your hands, right? From turning tight valves to opening jars that are hard to open. It's important to have good hand strength, right? Using manual tools, right? You use your hands, right? Carrying water, you're using your hands, right? Sawing wood, you're using your hands. So I want to kind of dive deep into this topic, because I think it's important for us to not just because we talk about strength training, right, for our mind. We talk about strength training for our body, but more specifically, are you doing any kind of strength training for your hands, right? Because this can be the difference between success and struggle in SHTF event, right? Or however that looks, right? So today's tip, I want to talk about training your hands like you train your mind, or training your hands like you train your body, right? I think we should start incorporating hand strengthening exercises into your daily routine. There are these things called hand grippers, and they are spring loaded, and you put them in your hand and you just kind of work your hand muscles, right? You can also practice by opening jars and lids and things like that. You also can strengthen your hands by chopping firewood or using manual tools regularly, right? One of the things that I do sometimes at work is carrying things from one point to another point, long distances, right? It's good to do that. Because in a grid down situation, power tools, soft living, all of that goes out of the window, right? And we're going to be using tools that aren't battery powered because the grid is down, right? So I would also encourage you to even look for hand tools that people will sell, and they're sometimes pretty cheap depending on what the tool is. Some tools are really expensive because those hand tools are still kind of in use. But if you buy a bow saw, or you buy a hand saw, you're going to find those really inexpensive. And in a grid down situation, we're going to need those tools, right? Buy an axe. They're really cheap. You can go to Harbor Freight and get you a really good axe. I have a axe, a hatchet from Harbor Freight, and it works wonders. And so don't think that in a grid down situation we're gonna have the ability to use cordless tools or battery operated tools, because we just might not, because there won't be any grid to charge all of that stuff or to really be able to use it. So think about that. I have some hand tools that my wife loves to buy tools, and so she's always buying tools at garage sales and things like that. So make sure you utilize those kind of spaces. On a Friday, maybe it's you go and look for garage sales, right? And see what kind of hand tools you can buy, because in a grid down situation, you won't be able to use those other kinds of tools. So it's important, because you'll be able to use them when other people aren't going to be able to have those kinds of things. So think about that. When it comes to your hand grip, your physical resilience, is important, right? It will matter way even more than ever at that point, right? The Bible tells us in Ecclesiastes 9:10, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. So, strong hands build strong preppers, right? So strengthen them now, before you really truly need them. So this was a quick video, guys. I hope that you guys have a great Monday, and let's comment on this video. I think this is a good topic to talk about, right? What are we doing to strengthen ourselves to prepare, right? Because that's another prep, is strengthening yourself. So guys, have a great Monday. Remember, today is the day the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Even though it's Monday, it doesn't mean it has to be a bad day, right? God made it for us, so let's rejoice in it. Guys, have a great day. My name's Fernando, God's Prepared Warrior. Have an awesome day. See you tonight at the Roundtable Live.